To kind of go back to the design board and create something that looked a little bit different. So this was inspired by the traditional wedding ring quilts. You have all of these rings that are kind of overlapping, and then on the inside of each of those circles you have 4 pieces of fabric that have that look of a plaid, a little touch of gingham in the center, and it looks like holly leaves. But look at the fabrics that they use to create this, which I think is really nice. Now, just so that you know, these are not all individual cut pieces of fabric. They were actually able, which I think is pretty amazing when you look at it, they were actually able to print this circular pattern on, and then they went back and did the circle quilting over it to create the quilted texture. So you have some floral here with greens and reds. You have a stripe with, again, kind of an off-white, a true white, your soft green, and your red. You have a little bit of your plaid here, which is more of a green plaid, and then you have your red gingham. And that's going to go all over the quilt. The border of the quilt gives you that border of the red and white gingham, and then you have a wider border here of your kind of green mini check plaid. The reverse of this quilt is all of that red and white check. In addition to the quilt, you're also getting the shams. So that's something that's always really important to me. Whenever we do a quilt set in Your Home with Jill, I always ask that if we can do it for a good price, can we please include the shams? Because I think, one, nothing is more frustrating than finding out that you got the quilt and the shams weren't available or the size you needed was sold out. So I love being able to include it so that you can really make over your bed the minute you get this home and take it out of the packaging. This is also all 100% cotton, so if you do use this and the kids spill something on it, or you use it in a non-traditional way, it's machine washable and tumble dry. And I would recommend that you wash the quilt once before you put it out, because that really encourages the puckering of the quilting and gives it a great texture. Here's what else I want you to think about. You might look at this and say, you know what, it's pretty, but you know, those colors, I wouldn't really change the bedding in my room, or I wouldn't do this or that. So think about getting this, if you will, in maybe a twin size, because it's a great throw blanket to put on your sofa and tie into the holiday season. Do you have a bay window? These can be really pretty to sort of use almost like a tablecloth in those bay windows, and then maybe you display your Santa collection. We do that a lot. I have a quilt that's done with like a holiday train, and I use that and I kind of drape that and then put some of my Santas as part of the display. You could buy this in the full size and actually do it as maybe your kitchen table covering. Are you having a cookie exchange? Are you having some kind of a just sort of a wine and cheese gathering, or appetizers and desserts? Throw this on as a table covering. Years ago, I saw a beautiful spread in one of the magazines of Barbara Streisand's home, and she draped quilts over her grand piano. So here's this, you know, regal, beautiful, expensive, you know, piece of, or instrument, and yet she had softened it with the look of a beautiful quilt. Hang this over your banister. I mean, you could use this as a tree skirt. If your tree is put into the corner and you just wanted to kind of gather it around the front part, you could do that very easily. And also, you know, a lot of times then too, when you have these smaller shams, you could actually use those if you folded them the right way. Those could almost be like a little mantle scarf. So you really don't have to just use them for bedding, although I bet 95% of you will. But if you love the look of this, like these soft greens and reds, the touch of the sort of country charm of the gingham tied into the beautiful florals and that little bit of kind of a Christmassy plaid, then this might be something that could be part of your decor. And truth be told, you could use it on your bed one year and then decide you're going to use it, you know, for something else the next year. But just make sure you're smart in the size that you buy that's going to give you the most versatility. If your guest room is a queen size, get that queen size. Know that you can use it in the guest room. Know that you could fold it down and make it a beautiful blanket at the foot of the bed. That a queen size would cover a nice large size table, but could also be gathered around for a great tree skirt too. So stay on the line for that. Machine washable, tumble dry, and that is item number H205710. Don't forget, those are all on 4